At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Pittsburgh Pirates. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Toyota. Get big savings at the Toyota Father's Day sales event. Toyota, let's go places. By Geico, over 75 years of savings and service. By New York Community Bank and the NYCB family of banks. By the State Farm agent of the game, John Garfinkel of Brooklyn. Contact John at johngarfinkel.com. And by the Better Network, Verizon. Better matters. One of the 10 best days of the year in New York today. Beautiful day to stroll through Central Park. If you happen to find a run while you're there, could you bring it to Citi Field with you? Just hop on the 7 train, bring it with the crowd to the left field gate. Mets could use some right now. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling with you tonight as the Mets play the middle game of their series against the Pirates. Mets got shut out last night. They're not a very healthy team right now. They were hoping to get Juan Lagares back in the lineup tonight for the first time since he injured his thumb, but that thumb is not enabling him to start. So the Mets again are a shorthanded team as they reach a very precarious point in the season. You know, Gary, I think it's such a critical time right now. Remember, the old trade deadline used to be on June 15th. Well, you have some time for that, but I don't think there's a position player panacea out there that's going to cure the offensive ails like you did last year, of course, with Cespedes. So it's going to have to come from within. How is that going to happen? Well, maybe your starting pitchers until the All-Star break are going to have to be pushed to 115, 120. Maybe your everyday players have to get off that home run train and say to themselves, productive outs, take the extra bases, be more aggressive trying to score runs from second base. All of those little things they're going to have to do better as they come together in this critical time. Well, with so much of the Mets' regular lineup out of commission right now, it leaves Yoenis Cespedes kind of naked in that 3 spot in the Mets batting order. So the question is, how do the Mets best protect Cespedes and get the most out of him with so little else around him?
Well, with so many people down, you're talking now, everybody's forgotten Duda's down, David Wright's down. Now, they were not having productive years, but they were bats that had to be respected in the lineup and pitched to. So now the pitchers, as Ronnie always says, they looks down the lineup card, oh, who's can beat me? And I think the opposing pitchers are going to look down that lineup and go, okay, Cespedes is not going to beat me. From Terry's side, who do I put to protect him? Well, it's got to be a left-hand hitter. Tonight it's going to be Flores hitting cleanup, if you can believe that. So things are just so patchwork right now. And this is a critical 24 games remaining till the All-Star break. They're going to have 7 games with Washington and 3 with the Cubs. So a lot we'll find out a lot now in the next 24 ball games. Well, the Mets' best solution this year has been to send Noah Syndergaard to the mound. He has been fantastic, and he gets another start tonight. I always think have a team meeting. Noah Syndergaard is pitching today, and he's been by far their best pitcher, and he's the best guy for them to throw out there. You see his stats in his last 7 games. On the other side, lefty Jeff Locke, who really got beat around his last start at Coors Field. You know, he's been killed 3 times this year in starts, and the other ones he's been very good. Who are the Mets going to see tonight? So it's the Mets and the Pirates. Mets have lost 10 of 11 of the Bucks. They try and get that turned around tonight. All the action coming your way tonight right here on SNY.
M&M's chocolate candies, the official chocolate of the New York Mets. Join them as they celebrate 75 years at MMS.com and celebrate with M. Get to Citi Field this Friday for Free Shirt Friday when the Mets face off against the Braves at 7:10. All fans in attendance will receive a Neil Walker t-shirt courtesy of McDonald's. For tickets, visit Mets.com/Free Shirt Fridays. Now time for greater coverage of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Here's Noah Syndergaard's recent numbers and his numbers in starts following a Mets loss. He has been the stopper on the Mets staff. He has given them every chance to win when they've needed one most, and he is needed tonight. Mets have lost 3 straight. Syndergaard tries to end that when we come back. Syndergaard takes the mound for the Mets, making his 13th start of the year. He owns that mound.
How about no baseball?
Well, that's because the umpires just arrived.
Exactly.
That's right.
There's a lot of traffic in the city today.
What's going on?
Your Hyundai Pirates starting lineup. Only change for the Pirates tonight is behind the plate Eric Kratz, and a subtle change. Andrew McCutchen, who's been hitting second, flipped down to the 3rd spot on the batting order. He's been struggling mightily, made some comments last week about how he doesn't have enough time to prepare for that first at bat in the 2-hole.
Really?
So Clint Hurdle is accommodating his superstar.
I remember Keith saying that when they moved him to second that one game, 1980 something. Here's the Land Rover stats for Noah Syndergaard. He's at the top of the heap and everything. 5th in ERA, 3rd in Ks per 9 innings with 11.15. Base on balls per 9, only 1.4, and has not allowed an earned run here at Citi Field in his last 17 1/3 innings pitched.
John Jaso getting set to lead things off for the Pirates, who had lost 5 straight games before Jamison Tyone stifled the Mets last night and picked up his first big league win.
And the Mets defense brought to you by Lexus, and Kelly Johnson first start out in left field for the Mets. Granderson Cespedes rounded out. On the infield, Matt Reynolds at second base. Flores at third. You know, they could flip that if they wanted. You know, put Flores over at second base.
Here's Jamison Tyone. He's had a day to soak in his first big league win from last night. What an impressive performance it was.
I wonder how many text messages he had. DeGrom last night gave up 2 runs in 6 innings. I thought it was the best stuff he had all season long.
John Jaso leads things off 0 for 4 last night. Syndergaard ready to go, and the first pitch of the night is lined into center field, and Jaso turns around a 98-mile-an-hour fastball and gets a base hit on the first pitch of the game.
First pitch fastball hitting here, not wasting any time. Right down the pipe, down, full extension. The hitters now know that they've got to dial it up. If they don't, then I don't know where they've been. They've been halfway around the world, I guess. With Syndergaard, they know he's a hard thrower. They got to be more set.
Now here's Gregory Polanco hitting second in the order. Polanco 1 for 3 last night. Jaso not a base stealer. He's a leadoff guy who gets on base. And a half swing by Polanco on a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. So Syndergaard's solution after that first pitch base hit, dialed it up a little more.
Exactly. Well, remember, Jaso has had 8 at bats. Well, that's the 9th against the Mets. 7 of those 8, he went 3-2 count. So swinging at the first pitch, that's going to be what's going to happen now. And that board, 3-3. Washington, the Cubs. Rizzo hit a 2-run home run off Ollie Perez in the 9th. And then they tied it up on a Ramos single to score Harper.
Two out single. Two out single. Off Rondon. So it's quite a ball game in Washington.
That's begin the day. 5 games up on the Mets in the NL East, matching their largest lead of the season. And Polanco takes the slider at his feet. Ball on 2 strikes. Syndergaard's last outing was against the Pirates in Pittsburgh last Wednesday, the final game of that series. That's the game the Mets rallied from behind 3 times. Pirates got 2 runs in the first inning against him in that game, helped out by a Neil Walker error. Walker is out of the lineup again tonight for the Mets. He saw a doctor today to check on his bulky back. And Syndergaard with a slider strikes out Polanco for the first out of the night.
Strikes out a very red-hot hitter. And this is just that wicked slider.
Gets it right on the horseshoe of those seams and just turns it over.
I've never heard that terminology before. Horseshoe. Excellent. I've never heard that. Right. I've been in this game over 40, 50 years.
I said 11 years in, I'd break it in.
Here's Andrew McCutchen having himself just a spectacularly bad month of June. For a superstar player like McCutchen, the numbers he's putting up right now are startling. And this is a guy who's been a star for half a dozen years in this league, 5-time All-Star. But in June, he's hitting 149 with no home runs. Can there be something psychological about putting him back in his preferred spot in the batting order to try and get him going?
It could. Yes. I mean, you would try anything to get someone out of the slump. But what Ronnie and I both observed last night is he's falling back on his swing, on his back foot when he follows through. And then maybe that's the thumb. I'm sure it is. It's something that's preventing him from. He's not a .230 hitter, that's for sure.
He's had a sore left thumb that's plagued him for a while now. Outside at 100, 1-2.
Syndergaard brings it every night.
I mean, it's just, it's like flames coming out of it. It's like a jet burner. Well,
1-2 coming to McCutchen, and he flies it out to left center, and Cespedes is there. And that's the second out. And back to first goes Jaso.
Gary, you mentioned about McCutchen saying he hasn't got time to get ready in the 2-hole. Well, how many you can go about your second, third, and fourth at bat? You could be the leadoff hitter in an inning, and also a second place hitter in the inning. What do you so you can't get ready?
I think he was referring to his first at bat.
Referring to his first at bat, and I also think in today's game, because of the disparity in what players make and what the coaches make, there is a bullying sense that not bullying is the wrong word, but you could say something that Certainly
with a snap throw.
Certainly could make a manager think twice about his lineup. How about that? Well, Rivera likes to show off the arm.
Well, the Pirates have been a very good offensive team this year, even with, you know, their most established player having himself a subpar season. So if they can get McCutchen going anyway, that certainly would make them better. Ball and a strike to Jung-Ho Kang, who has just been startlingly good since coming back from the knee injury that ended his season last year. In fact, with his home run last night, Kang now has a .627 slugging percentage, which would lead the National League if he had enough at bats. In fact, Kang is tied for the Pirates' team lead in home runs with 9, and he's only had 102 at bats.
Got a big blow last night, a bomb. That was a 2-iron he hit over that 370 sign, and that was over the Great Wall of Flushing, the old Great Wall that was been taken down.
Well, it's still there. It's just it's in back of the outfield fence.
Oh,
with a half swing and a miss, and it's 2-2.
Here's the home run. He just lit into one mistake that DeGrom made last night. DeGrom was throwing a fine ball game, keeping the ball down, and made one mistake with the fastball, and Kang made him pay the ultimate price.
Two coming, and he just got a piece. Is Syndergaard's slider particularly nasty early in this game?
Well, I will say that he has brought it tonight. I was just commenting to the truck that it looks like to me that he is really amped up. It's almost like, you know, when he makes those relief appearances, the way he throws, that's sort of how I'm watching him here in the initial inning. You know, there's not pressure, but you feel it as a starting pitcher to get your team a win. How do you do that? Make sure the other team doesn't score at all.
Well, there's another piece to that, and that is this is the first time in Noah's career he's facing the same team back-to-back as a starter. And, you know, the Pirates put it on him early in that start last week.
Well, I watched that game, and they turned on some fastballs, and I think Ronnie's right. He's amped up. He's got a little extra.
Jaso gets set to run. 3-2 coming, and Kang strikes out on the slider to end the inning. So Syndergaard gives up a leadoff hit, then gets 3 in a row with a couple of punch-outs. Mets come to bat in the bottom of the first with no score. Lead off for New York. Here is your Mets Geico starting lineup. The original lineup tonight had Juan Lagares leading off, Granderson hitting second, but Lagares a late scratches thumb injury, which is a partially torn ligament, acted up, and so he was scratched, and we'll have to see what transpires from that.
But one of the few Major League Baseball players that is from New Hampshire, North Conway, New Hampshire. 4-1 in his last 5. Gary talked about it in the open, though. 11 runs given up in Colorado in his last start.
Wearing it.
Oh, that's wearing. I've done it.
Granderson leads off and takes a knee-high strike from Locke. Well, Locke's been up and down because 3 starts back he pitched the first complete game and first shutout of his big league career, blanking the Marlins. Only complete game in 103 career starts as Granderson bangs one off his leg. Locke's now 28 years old. He started out in the Braves organization.
Well, he doesn't throw hard, sinks the fastball. As you see, Granderson foul it off his front foot. Got a little bit of a slider that's come into his repertoire, a curveball, and change. Typical soft tossing lefty.
Granderson bloops one the other way, and that's going to fall in for a leadoff hit. So a little bit of early luck for Granderson. A bloop single to get the Mets started.
Well, fastball in, and it's a pitcher's pitch. Sometimes it's not fair. Inside out. And a little old duck over there into left field.
Last night it took the Mets to the 7th inning to get their first hit.
And it was Granderson.
Locke has had 2 horrific starts, and in those 2 starts, 7 2/3 innings, 19 earned runs. Oh my gosh.
One against San Diego and one against Colorado.
Ouch, that'll hurt the ERA.
Well, that accounts for the 5.38. His ERA went up more than a full run in that after that last start in Colorado. Here's Cabrera hitting second in the order, and he lines one the other way for a base hit. So the Mets have the table set here in the opening inning. Granderson stops at second. Couple of opposite field hits, and the Mets have 2 men on for Cespedes.
Isn't this funny? You have a lineup that's ready. You have every conceivable reason you've gone through to put the lineup together. One guy cannot play, and it changes 6 out of the 9 people in the lineup, and you got the first 2 guys on.
Well, Granderson was going to hit second today. Cabrera was going to hit cleanup.
That's right. That was the original lineup. Well, we talked about how you ensure teams pitch to Cespedes. Best way to do it, get a couple of men on ahead of him.
I didn't think of that in the open. But we've got limited time in the open.
Well, sometimes you have to wrap it up.
Sometimes you might get blindsided, too.
Defense fairly straight up, as you can see, except Harrison up the middle, the second baseman.
Cespedes has been the Mets' best hitter against lefties this year by far. And takes the curveball down for ball 1. Cespedes 0 for 3 last night. He's hitting .341 against left-handed pitching. 4 of his 16 home runs have come against lefties. And Granderson bounces one. Foul, 1-1. People's United Bank brings you tonight's starters. Last outing for Locke, a disaster. Last outing for Syndergaard, and no decision for him against this same team. Locke pitched that makeup game in Colorado, which really seemed to knock the Pirates for a loop. They were home to play the Mets, went to Colorado for the 1, came back home and got swept by the Cardinals over the weekend. Cespedes with a check swing foul, 1-2.
It's one of those soft tossing left-handers that can, when you're not a hard thrower, you still have to pitch inside there. And there's a guy that's not throwing hard and just tied up Cespedes big time inside. You can't live on that outside corner. You've got to establish in, even if you're not a hard thrower.
Interesting part, will he double up in there? Because that's the pitch he has to throw.
Locke not a strikeout pitcher, averaging just 4.6 strikeouts per 9 innings, one of the lowest marks of any starter in the league.
Doubled up, Ronnie.
Yes, he did. I mean, when you look at this confrontation, Flores on deck, to me, you almost know Cespedes is going to hit something hard. He's going to get a changeup in the strike zone at some point and do some damage.
Two coming.
3 in a row.
And a fastball inside, full count. We got Flores on deck. First time Wilmer's hitting cleanup this year. So Locke finds himself in initial difficulty. First and second, nobody out. And he's run the count full to Cespedes.
He's going to go away. He's not going to go 4 times in the back end.
And he misses with a changeup. And the Mets have the bases loaded with nobody out.
Oh, tough to make that pitch early when you're in trouble. 3-2 change. Now the sacks are loaded. Coors Light Pirates defense. That's that wonderful outfield right there. Polanco, McCutchen, and Marte. They are stellar players. Gong having himself a terrific year. Played a terrific game last night at third base. Made some nice plays.
Ronnie, it's got to be hard when you go into a game and your game plan is don't let Cespedes beat us. And now in the first inning, you're in a situation where maybe you needed to challenge him more.
Well, sometimes you get in a situation where it doesn't matter. You have to be able to say, my stuff is better. I'm going to have to challenge him and get an out.
So now a chance for Flores, and it's outside, boxed around by Kratz, 1-0. The other piece about this is that Kratz is catching Locke for the first time. Eric Kratz was just picked up on Saturday. Remember, Francisco Cervelli broke his hand. Chris Stewart's been banged up. It's only the second game Kratz is starting since coming back to the Pirates.
Well, it's always difficult to pitch to a new catcher. It's always difficult for the catcher to know what are the right fingers to put down. Most of the time, though, a veteran catcher like Kratz, he can make the change pretty easily.
Can't get over anxious here.
Wilmer nubs one. It's going to stay fair. Locke's going to have to go to first, and a run comes home. A little sidewinder. Flores hits it 40 feet to drive in a run. Granderson comes in, and it's 1-0 New York.
Hey, it's a Ruthian blast in the paper tomorrow on the box scores. That's an RBI, and it also advances the runner. Runners, plural, excuse me.
A triply productive out.
Good read by Grandy.
I like how he massaged that back into play. It was on its way foul, and it massaged back into play.
If you could do that with a pool cue, he'd be Minnesota Fats. So now second and third and 1 out. Kelly Johnson the batter, and the Pirates will keep their infield back, already down a run. Johnson, the late addition to the lineup, took over as the left fielder when Lagares was scratched. And he grounds one foul. Michael Conforto was out taking early batting practice tonight, so it appears that Terry had the choice of putting Conforto in the lineup, but he struggled so mightily against the lefties, he decided to go with Johnson instead.
I think that Terry wants to bring him back against a right-hander.
And that'll probably be tomorrow against Juan Nicasio, who starts the final game of the series for the Pirates.
Big shift on the infield to the right side.
Johnson pops one up. And the catcher, Kratz, goes out to get it for the second out. So Johnson can't get a run in. You know, the Mets have been the worst in the National League at productive outs, and by a fairly healthy margin. The Pirates have the most. Now, you hit a ball like Flores, do you get credit for 3 productive outs or only 1?
Depends on the analytics, Gary.
Because he advanced 3 runners.
Does that count?
It's an RBI for Flores. That's all he knows. Well, here's Matt Reynolds playing second base tonight with Walker still on the shelf. We started talking about it earlier. Walker had to go to the doctor today. His back is not coming around as quickly as he had thought or hoped. So you've got Conforto, who's been dealing with the wrist. You've got Walker and the back. You've got Lagares and the thumb. They're all on the active roster, but none of them is in the lineup tonight.
And I think, I mean, since Lagares didn't start, I think really Conforto's the only one who really can play.
And we don't even know that for sure, although he did pinch hit last night. So you would certainly think so. Reynolds, making his 3rd start for the Mets, has been doing a nice job as a pinch hitter. He had a pinch hit double last night, 3 hits in his last 5 pinch hit at bats. Playing second base tonight, a position he has not played nearly as much as he has shortstop in his minor league career.
When you're going through a stretch like the Mets are, on the bench you can hear guys occasionally saying this: 2-out knock, 1 time, just 1 time.
Well, Locke is 1 out away from pulling a Houdini here. If he can get out with 1 run, that's the job well done.
Ball and a strike to Reynolds, and he fouls off the fastball. Mets with 2 outs and runners in scoring position this year as a team, hitting .161, which is also dead last in the National League. Cabrera third, Cespedes is second with 2 out. I feel like we had these conversations a lot last year when the Mets offense was struggling. At some point, a Met pitcher has to go out and pitch a shutout. Reynolds slams one foul.
I mean, Locke can get out. That was his 18th pitch. He can get out of this inning with less than 20 pitches. It'd be a miracle. Bases loaded, nobody out.
You know what's interesting is last night Reynolds came up to pinch hit, beat Polanco in right center with a double. They have Polanco playing on the right field line, opening up that right center field, although McCutchen is shaded a little that way.
Both playing pretty shallow. And Reynolds takes just off the plate. 2-2. Locke was going to primarily throw you fastballs and changeups to the right-hand hitter. Two coming to Reynolds, and he lines one foul. Got out ahead of that. Now Reynolds 20 at bats deep into his major league career, and where he was up last year in the postseason but never played. Seventh pitch of the at bat from Locke to Reynolds, and he pulls it over the bag. That's a fair ball going down the line. 2 runs will score. Cabrera and Cespedes score. Reynolds pulls in with a big 2-out double, and the Mets have a 3-0 first inning lead.
Well, wants to come inside, but makes the one boo-boo, and that is it's down, not up and in or belt high. And Reynolds just continues to really perform well and hit and drive in some nice clutch runs here. Well done. Nice at bat.
You originally had a patchwork quilt of a lineup. Then there was a rip, re-sewn, and Reynolds comes through.
Well, the conversation all the time as Ray Surridge goes out to the mound, when you have injuries, it presents opportunities. And over the last few days, Matt Reynolds has been getting a chance here and there to participate, and now gets a very big hit.
Well, the at bat that looked like it could kill the Mets in that first inning was the pop up from Kelly Johnson, who was the late addition like everyone else was. But when you have a 2-out knock like that, it changes everything. It gets your team in a great place. It gives your starting pitcher a chance to work with an edge. It takes a lot of the weight off your offense because now you have 3 points on the board. It's a beautiful thing. And also Locke is starting to feel like, oh, is this the Rockies all over again?
So here's James Loney hitting 7th in the order against the left-hander. Loney's done a nice job against lefties in his brief tenure as a Met. 4 hits and 9 at-bats against lefties, and that pretty much is in concert with his career. He's never given away much against lefties. And he hits this in the air to right field, and Polanco is right there waiting for it. And that retires the side, but the Mets put up a 3 spot in the first and lead 3-0. Advantage. You look at the Mets starting pitchers, home and away. One loss record, pretty much the same. But look at the ERA. Mets have had a much better ERA at home than on the road. So Noah Syndergaard staked to a 3-0 lead. Starling Marte leads off the second inning for the Pirates. Marte 2 for 4 with a 2-run homer last night. That came against Jim Henderson late in the game. And he takes low and in for ball 1. Marte second in the National League in batting at .335. 10 for 20 over his last 5 games. Although he missed a couple of games in the series against the Mets last week after he fouled a ball off his ankle. And he takes a strike.
You know, I always talk about shutdown innings. This might be the most important 0 in some time for Mets pitching staff after getting those 3 runs.
How about this? It's grounded weakly, and Flores on the charge. A quick throw and a close play, but he gets Marte one away. The 3 runs the Mets scored in the first inning, the first time they've scored more than 2 in any inning since May 27th. That's 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
May 27th against the Dodgers, they also had 3 runs in the first inning, and they had not had more than 2 in any inning since.
Do you remember a time when we sat in this booth and every night we talked about the Mets scoring in the first inning?
Yep.
Right? Things change.
Well, maybe they're changing back.
There you go.
Here's Josh Harrison, who was 1 for 4 last night. And he takes a fastball strike.
I almost don't know how Harrison can touch Syndergaard if he stays on that outside corner. Maybe he can. I haven't seen enough of him hitting, but boy, he's a long way away from that plate.
Well, he looked overmatched against DeGrom his first 2 at bats last night.
Well, he got the bunt base hit last night. Really was his only base hit
after the home run, right?
Yep.
Right.
By Marte.
Stole the base. 1 for 4 last night.
Harrison had a great series in Pittsburgh. He flies this one out to center, and Cespedes comes over. And that's the second out. So Syndergaard, after a leadoff hit by Jaso on the first pitch he threw, has retired 5 in a row.
We noted how Harrison, stands very erect and relaxed at the plate, and he got beat on a fastball there. That's well and good off of a normal pitcher. But with someone that's got a fastball like Syndergaard, you got to get a little more set and prepared and ready to go.
There's Jordy Mercer, 1 for 4 last night. Takes a slider for a strike, even though Rivera failed to catch it. Well, whatever else the catching rotation has been, Terry has kept Rivera with Syndergaard to try and cut down on the running game a little bit.
Well, they also have a good rapport. They've been working well together. We gave the numbers of what Noah has looked like in his last 7 starts. He had a relief appearance in there also. It's been a phenomenal stretch.
If all stays true to plan, Travis d'Arnaud should be back next Tuesday when the Mets play the Royals. And you'd have to guess that Rivera's going to stick around. Little tapper off the back of the mound. Cabrera's got it. And he retires Mercer. 1-2-3 inning for Syndergaard. A 9-pitch inning. Shutdown inning. 3-0. Rivera will lead off for the Mets, who put up 3 in the first inning against Jeff Locke. Let's go back to Asdrubal Cabrera on that last ground ball. Looked like a routine play.
Well, he doesn't bend at the legs here. He kind of just bends at the waist, but he's very fluid and throws all in one motion. I mean, it's routine. It's a major leaguer out there, and he is a quality fielder. There's no question. He is what we've seen day in, day out from him. He's very smooth. 2 hands. He uses 2 hands. Not fancy.
You know, Tim Tuffle told us last year, was trying to say that he teaches infielders replace the front foot with the back foot, and that's the way to get rid of it quickly. Well, some can do it and some can't.
Rivera takes one the other way, and that goes foul.
Oh.
Nice grab by the ball boy.
So watch his stutter step to get the timing. Watch the back foot replace the front foot. Boy, that's beautiful.
It's the crow hop.
But
You
it's
know?
a crow hop, but we also have seen a lot of guys with
Have we not?
duck hops.
Yes. Wounded ducks.
Well, it's that ability to get rid of the ball in one motion no matter where the ball is and what the arm angle is.
Best I saw was Ozzie Smith. Best ever.
Well, guy you guys played with, Kevin Elster, he was fabulous at that.
Well, especially Kevin was a big man. Kevin was 6'2", 215 pounds.
The Mets have had flashier shortstops than Ellie. I mean, Ray Ordonez certainly comes to mind, but nobody was smoother. Line the other way, a base hit for Rivera. That's going to split the outfielders and go all the way back to the wall. Rivera digs to second base, and he snaps an 0 for 13 with a leadoff double.
Wants to come inside. When you're a soft tosser, when you come in, you better get it in. With the right side of the infield wide open, it wouldn't have mattered. It was a line drive. But that would give me pause to play the shift on Rivera, because obviously your attack on a soft tossing left-hander, if you're a right-hand hitter, a changeup guy, is going to be into that opposite field gap.
There's a new rule for me. If you're hitting under 150, you can't be shifted on. I mean, simple as that.
Well, the thing about Rivera is he's generally a guy who goes up there just trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. And the adjustment there. No bunt from Syndergaard, even against the lefty.
I wouldn't bunt him ever.
I bet you it's just 1 strike he gave him. It's a game you got to win tonight.
Syndergaard has 4 hits this year, including the 2 home runs he hit in L.A.
There you go. He gave him 1 chance, Ronnie.
Yeah, it's a good call, Keith.
And he bunts and misses, and now it's 0-2. Jaso was playing behind the bag, deep behind the bag after that first pitch where Syndergaard had the hit sign, and he came sprinting in when he saw Noah squaring, and he's still not buying it.
Well, Noah's attempt wasn't very good. I would let him swing away. Stabbed at it.
Well, think about it this way. I mean, forget that he's a pitcher. He's an enormous left-hand hitter, and if you're the first baseman and you have to sprint in, you're taking your life into your hands.
Well, it had to be similar, Keith, when you had the charge with Sutcliffe at the back, because he could really
try Willie Stargell and John Milner on for size.
Yeah, but they're not bunting. And Syndergaard goes down on the breaking ball, and so there's the first strikeout for Locke. It's bye-bye Balboni.
Yes, it is.
One of my favorites, Steve Balboni.
Kansas City Royal.
Eckerd College. Played with the Yankees, I think, early in his career.
Yes, he did.
Royals. He used to make them ring that bell in Columbus, I'll tell you.
Yes, indeed.
Power hitter.
Granderson had a bloop single his first time up. So Curtis is hitting .222 for the year after that hit. You know what he's hitting his first at bat of the game when he leads off? .367.
Huh.
Obviously, he's not having any problem getting ready for his first at bat.
I was just going to say that. Last night he batted third in the order. And back in the leadoff spot tonight. Rivera at second and 1 out. And Locke gets ahead of him 0-2.
That reminds me of the time I was swinging a really good bat with the Mets, and my dad was watching all the games and called him on the phone randomly, and he gets on and goes, "You know, you're giving away too many first at bats."
Thanks, Dad.
Dropped a great Santini on you.
A little chunker out to shortstop, and Mercer throws out Granderson. That ball made a very strange sound coming off the bat.
It's balsa wood that gets jammed.
Didn't know they made bats out of balsa wood, Keith.
It used to be great. Those little wooden airplanes used to fly.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think you were sniffing too much glue when you're
Never.
Okay.
It softens the cranium. It's not good for you.
So Rivera now at third with 2 out. Here's Asdrubal Cabrera, swung at the first pitch he saw from Locke and lined a base hit to right field. And again he attacks the first pitch fastball, 0-1.
So it's interesting how the Pirates aren't really doing those extreme shifts. Clint Hurdle was definitely an acolyte of that. We've noticed, at least I've noticed the first 2 games here, they have not really gone into a lot of extreme shifts. Probably because of the left-hander here, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Cabrera pulls one down to third, and Gong handles it cleanly. And that retires the side. Mets can't convert the leadoff double by Rivera. After 2 at Citi Field, 3-0 New York. Just follow SNY on Twitter during the 5th inning of tonight's game for details on how to enter the SNY 5th inning sweepstakes presented by Tri-State Ford. Eric Kratz, who's celebrating his 36th birthday today, leads off for the Pirates in the 3rd, and he flies one out to center. Cespedes eases over. 1 pitch and 1 out for Syndergaard in the 3rd. Noah came up in May of last season. This is his 37th start, and this is what the
greatest god in Asgard has done.
For you folks at for you young folks at home, that would be a full year in yesteryear. 36 starts.
That's great. The Lightning.
Right?
That's great.
Oh, I like how he pulls the hair back.
Got some roots showing there.
Noah wins.
The Knicks jersey threw me off for a second, but
I never liked the blonde hair with the dark eyebrows.
I'm not following this yellow brick road, I'll tell you that.
Jeff Locke has 2 hits this year. Lifetime .091 hitter. And Locke strikes out. That's the 3rd of the night for Syndergaard, who's now retired 8 in a row.
Doesn't it seem, Ronnie, like Syndergaard came out blowing gas in that first inning, really hyped up, ready to pitch a big game, and now he's kind of settling in.
Yeah.
And
So 2 out, John Jaso coming up, and we check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Gary, as you guys noted yesterday, John Jaso has an incredibly unorthodox stance when he gets ready to hit, and it's one that has really evolved for him greatly over time. If you look back on when he first started in the league with Tampa Bay, his setup was almost entirely opposite. He was closed off and he was crouched really low down to the ground, but he was actually a catcher back then with Tampa, and being crouched that long behind the plate and then also as a hitter, it actually hurt his thighs a little bit. So when he went to Seattle, he tried to stand more upright. He saw Dustin Ackley open up a little bit, so he decided to open up a little bit. That worked for a time. Then when that didn't work, he went back to his old stance. It wasn't until he hooked up with Chili Davis in Oakland as he shoots one out to center field here. When he went to Chili Davis in Oakland, he said, let's combine the two. And that's what they did, and that's what you see right there. And that's going to do it here. End of 3. Mets up 3-0. We head to the 4th inning after this.
We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Yes, the bottom of the 3rd. And Yoenis Cespedes leads off against Jeff Locke. Cespedes walked and scored a run on the Mets' 3-run first. The Mets had scored only 1 run in the 1st inning in June before they got their 3 in the 1st inning tonight. It is June 15th. By the way, Keith, happy anniversary.
oh, that's right.
33 years ago today, on the trading deadline in 1983.
That's right.
Keith became a Met.
And
Cespedes hits one out to left, but right at Marte. One out.
So it's 8 o'clock right now. The first game out of a Cardinal uniform in my major league career.
I love that we celebrate 33 years ago. You got traded to a place you didn't want to go.
Didn't want to go. 2 places I didn't want to go. I had to go to Montreal. I picked you guys up in Montreal.
Oh, that's where Jay didn't pick you up at the airport.
Jay missed me. I don't know how. I don't know how I missed Jay. But also, Cardinals had already played 2 series that season, so I had the Mets only played 1, so I had to go 4 times to Montreal, the least place outside of Candlestick I like to play.
At least you get to spend all your loonies.
There's Jay. Oh, my what?
All your loonies.
Change.
Dollar coins. Canadian.
Oh, yeah.
Eh?
There they are.
Jay Horwitz eating.
Jay.
Ethan Wilson eating.
That's how they missed you.
Flores takes off. Flores drove in the first run with a 40-foot squib in the first inning. In Washington, the Cubs have gone back in front of the Nationals with a 12th inning RBI single from Addison Russell. So the Nats are playing the Cubs, and when they're done with that series, they're done with the Cubs for the year, right?
Right? Yeah.
Mets have yet to play the Cubs. In fact, in a couple of weeks, the Mets will make a trip to Washington, and then right after that series come home to play the Cubs. So they'll have a full week of Washington and Chicago, the 2 best teams in the league. There's the Cubs record. 9.5 up on the Cardinals, 11.5 on the Pirates. Two-two to Flores, and he pulls one foul. Got out ahead of the changeup. See, Keith, I think Montreal was a mixed bag for you because you only hit 262 at Olympic Stadium, but you hit 390 at Jerry Park.
Wind blew out the right. Oh, another one.
Number, same way he hit the last one, and Locke with the backhand flip, and he gets Flores.
How in the world could you have 2 balls hit the same way like that?
I think George C. Scott had the wrong pool player in Paul Newman.
Now, Locke did well to get his hand around that ball and make that flip.
You telling me he's hustling Locke?
Gosh, that is highly unlikely what happened.
If he runs the table next time up, you'll know why.
I actually hit 260 at Stade Olympique, and that's a win-win.
And 390 at Jerry Park.
Jerry Park, it was cold in that park. Oh my gosh, it was a minor league park, and that wind blew. Oh.
Fans used to sit on snow drifts there early in the season.
Oh, it was just, you'd ask Rusty about that. I mean, it was just freezing in September and April. Forget it. I mean, it was the coldest place on earth. It was like it was Nanook of the North.
See, what year did Olympic Stadium open? It was for the Olympics in '76.
76.
Yes. So they played 7 years at Jerry Park.
I guess so. Yeah.
It's a lot of cold days.
That's rocketed deep to right center by Kelly Johnson toward the bullpen. It's out of here. Kelly Johnson with his first home run as a Met this season, and his second home run of the year. And the Mets now have a 4-0 lead. Well, he hit 5 as a Met last year, and that was crushed.
Keith always talks about it. Down and in, Keith.
Middle in, down. That's where the happy. It's like a happy meal. Right there, right where the lefties love it. No doubt. Marte, watch him just stop. I mean, Polanco, excuse me.
Well, that's almost to the pitcher's mound there in the bullpen.
That's quite a poke. That home run means $2,000 for No Kid Hungry, enough to provide 20,000 healthy meals courtesy of Citi. Mets had not homered each of the last 2 games. They had not gone 3 straight without a home run since April. And Reynolds follows with his second hit of the night. So Matt Reynolds is 2 for 2.
Reynolds stayed back nice on that changeup. Clint Hurdle always wearing that gum out, I tell you. See the change, middle, stays back. Caught it a little off the end, but nice swing.
Well, he had the pinch double his last at bat last night, a 2-run double and a single tonight. So Reynolds taking advantage of his opportunities.
Well, isn't it interesting that Terry kind of was going back and forth on who to start, Conforto or Johnson? And Johnson rewards him with his choice.
There's Loney, who fly to right his first time up. Well, the Mets have not seen it much these last 2 series against the Pirates because their offense is struggling so greatly. But the Pirates' Achilles heel has been their pitching.
Yeah.
This is a team that over the last few years has been very pitching rich, but it has not worked out that way for them this year.
Well, their bullpen has always been their strength, and it's not the same bullpen.
Well, they were a team that had guys that went 15 or 18 outs, and they'd have the bullpen come in and clean it up.
But this year now they have Garrett Cole, their ace, on the DL. Francisco Liriano has struggled. Locke has been up and down. John Neese has had good starts and bad starts, and that's kind of how it's gone for them.
And they have to be so encouraged by Tyone and the job he did last night.
Got to think he's going to stick around now.
Yeah, he's got a nice breaking ball. Nice curve ball, young man, right there.
That Kelly Johnson home run estimated at 437 feet.
Bomb.
Lefty on lefty. There goes Reynolds, and a number back to the mound under Lock's glove. But there's Mercer to clean it up, and he shot puts it to first to get Loney to end the inning. But the Mets add a run on Kelly Johnson's bomb of a home run. Second of the year, first as a Met. And the Mets lead 4-0 after 3. Verizon trivia question: who was the first player to strike out at Shea Stadium?
Oh, that's great.
1964. First game was the Mets and the Pirates.
That's a bucko.
If anybody gets that, I'm raising my hand that you Googled.
Gregory Polanco leads off and takes a strike. Isn't Dick Schofield the first batter?
Oh, ooh, leading off for the Pirates.
The elder Dick Schofield.
Yes.
The younger one played for the Mets but in the 90s.
64. Was Dick Stewart still with the Pirates back in
I
'64?
mean, it could have been Stargell.
Stargell could have been in left field back then. Remember, he broke in and played left field, Willie. And of course, you had Clemente in right, Mazeroski at second, Schofield, Gene Freese at third, wasn't it?
Or it could have been a Met.
My Stratomatic's coming out. I played that '64 season twice.
Could have been Al Moran.
Hmm.
1-2 to Polanco. What was that?
That was a.
What was that on our screen just there?
It was a little hint.
A
little
hint. A hint of what?
So the answer to the quick. Oh, Bill.
Now he's just giving it away.
So, who was the pitcher? Who was the starting pitcher the first game for the Mets? And Shea.
Polanco strikes out. That's 4 for Syndergaard, who's now retired 10 in a row.
Can't figure out this slider down and in. Who has been able to figure it out all year?
Hey, if he keeps fishing, keep throwing it.
Is that Jack Fisher the first game?
Was it Jack?
I'm not sure.
Not Roger Craig.
No, Roger wasn't there in '64.
Roger Craig was with the Cardinals in '64.
Right. '62 he was in. I don't know even why I try to get on this discussion. Just so bad. My eyes are glassed over already when the question came out.
What was the first year that you got interested in Major League Baseball?
'67.
Okay, so I was where I got interested really in 1960 when the Giants went. It was '62. Actually 60.
Popped up. Loney with a long way to go to the railing, and it's out of play.
There's the answer.
Well, let's answer our.
It's going to be a Hall of Famer.
First strikeout at Shea Stadium.
Well, they
Clemente gave it away.
Bill gave it away.
And I think it was against Jack Fisher.
Jack Fisher. Jack had the big curveball. The overhand over the top curve.
Grounded foul outside third. Jack was known by a nickname that referred to his body type that you can't use now. So I won't say it.
That'll be Google.
Commercial break.
You could have used it for cologne too, but you can't say that.
Okay, whatever you say.
Times change, you know.
Well,
sensibilities change.
For better or worse?
One way or the other. We're more protective of people's feelings now, which is a good thing. 0-2 to McCutchen. And this breaking balls outside, 1-2.
I do want you to tell me when we go to commercial break, Gary.
Should be fairly easy to figure out.
I won't tell.
First batter here hit a home run, didn't he?
That was Jody Garrett, yeah, against Pelfrey. And McCutchen caught looking. 2 men down. Jeez. 101 miles an hour, knees in black.
That is just an oil change there. That is some serious gas.
Not his fault. He batted second that inning.
Wow.
Just having fun.
RJ.
Come on.
Well, it is really a slog for McCutchen right now, and the Mets hope the slog lasts one more day. Here is Gong, who struck out his first time up. Syndergaard's retired 11 in a row, striking out 5 along the way. And the slider off the plate, ball 1.
Oh boy, the Nationals tied it up in the bottom of the 12th. Wow, they're still hitting.
Tells you a little bit about both of those teams, doesn't it?
Well, they have Trevor Cahill trying to close it out after Rondon had blown the save in the ninth. Michael Taylor singled in the tying run. Syndergaard behind for a rare time tonight. 2-0 to Gong. And there's a fastball strike. No problem. 2-0 for 100 miles an hour.
Taking all the way.
And he takes. Amazing.
And so he gets the slider.
No.
He swings.
Yep. Or the changeup, I think, Gare. 92-mile-an-hour change.
Really?
Yep, there it is.
Right.
So you take a 2-0 fastball and you get a 2-1 change. We saw that so many times back in Dave Hudgens' tenure here as hitting coach.
Maybe the hardest changeup he's thrown all year. Bouncing ball. Cabrera gets the easy hop. And Syndergaard's now retired 12 in a row. Noah on a major roll. He's got a 4-0 lead in the fourth. '16 MLB All-Star Game ballot now at MLB.com on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. Vote up to 35 times. Vote today, vote tomorrow. Vote at MLB.com/vote. SNY's Super Slow Motion brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
By the way, Gary, the first Met strikeout at Shea Stadium was Frank Thomas.
Okay. The original Frank Thomas.
Yes. And then the second strikeout was Amato Samuel.
Amato Samuel.
Yep.
Rene Rivera drilled a double to right center his first time up tonight.
So you talked about Rivera kind of bail and wail usually technique, just trying to hit the ball at the ballpark 2 times now. Base hit, the double that he hit in his first at bat, and now trying to go to right field again.
Well, there are free hits on the right side of the infield for Rivera with the shift that they're playing. And yanks that one foul, 1-2. I mean, here's the way I look at it, Keith, and maybe I'm just not looking at this correctly. Unless you're a big home run hitter and they're giving you one half of the field for free hits, you got to take it, right?
If you're leading off an inning, start the ball rolling.
Rivera strikes out. That's the second of the night for Locke.
Yes, Gare, but I
mean, I understand that if you're David Ortiz or you're Lucas Duda or whoever, if you're a 30-40 home run guy, no, it doesn't make much sense. But if you're not, why wouldn't you take the free hits?
Whatever happened to the table setters?
There's Syndergaard. more of a home run hitter. Noah struck out his first time up. I just wonder, as we move through the next generation of players being raised with shifting in the game, whether they will be taught to take advantage of what the shift allows.
Yeah, I'm sure in schoolboy baseball there are coaches that are shifting their infielders when the big hitter comes up. You know, let's say the left-handed hitter in high school, who's probably Syndergaard was that guy when he was playing, right? Who's 17, 18 years old and kills the ball. They probably put a shift on him. And I think what you're trying to say is that I guess they're going to get sick of making outs over there and be able to use the whole field.
Syndergaard strikes out for the second time, and there are 2 out.
Syndergaard having a hard time against the left-handers with that slider. He's got a weakness. Exploit it.
Now Granderson, who blooped a single in the first, grounded out in the second, 1 for 2. One from Locke, and Granderson takes just off the plate. 2-1.
You know, Terry Collins was singing the praises of Granderson. You know, he hit third in yesterday's lineup. He was supposed to hit second today. Cabrera on deck. Ended up leading off. He said, you know, he's a pro's pro. He doesn't care. He comes in, looks at the lineup, and gets ready to play. Never talks about the lineup, doesn't care. Got the ball rolling tonight.
Grounded down to Jaso, who surrounds it and makes the play to retire at the side. Locke's got his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. After 4 at Citi Field, 4-0 New York. Ford dealers who invite you to test drive a new Ford. You'll discover why Ford is the total package. Gorgeous day in New York today. Temperature got into the low 80s. One of the 10 best days of the year.
It was. A little troublesome getting over here to Queens, but that's how it goes.
Traffic everywhere.
Yeah, it was
crazy today. It was more like Friday traffic than Wednesday traffic.
Jimmy Rollins traffic coming from the city.
Starling Marte leads off against Noah Syndergaard, and it's fouled away. And since you just mentioned Jimmy Rollins,
Yeah.
do you find it at all ironic that in a week's time, both Jimmy Rollins and Jose Reyes have been designated for assignment? Guys who were such linchpins as rivals when the Mets and Phillies used to battle. That's way inside to Marte one-on-one.
And what I find strange about it, because Jimmy's older, is that Jimmy has a better chance to catch on with someone if he wants to than Jose does.
Well, I think that's for two reasons.
Yeah.
One, I think, you know, Jimmy has a wonderful reputation around the game, which Jose has scarred with the domestic violence complaint against him. But also, I think Reyes' skills have diminished to a point where I'm not sure that he can still help anybody.
I would compare Jose a little to Carl Crawford for the Dodgers, who games have changed so much that they don't do the things that really made them unique and special.
Well, when you're a speed player and your speed diminishes significantly, it takes away a big part of who you are. 1-2 to Marte. Low and in, 2-2, and I say that with great affection for Jose, who was a wonderful player for this franchise for a long time. A.J. Sugar left in the bullpen for the Pirates, but I think you're right. I think Rollins has a better chance of catching on than Reyes does. Marte goes down on strikes. Change up from Syndergaard for his 6th strikeout, and he's retired 13 in a row.
Dominant. Getting sink on it too, Ronnie. It's not a straight change.
And he's dominating with it after fastball in, and then the sequence he goes to the changeup down and in.
Very beautiful sky.
Well, the Nationals just won their game. Jason Worth, RBI double in the bottom of the 12th. They rally for 2 in the bottom of the 12th to win 5-4 over the Cubs. Hit down to first, handled nicely by Loney. And he retires Harrison 2 out.
Just had a walk-off hit a few days ago, didn't he, Worth? Bases loaded single.
He's swinging the bat better. He got off to a horrific start.
So the Nats rallied for a run in the 9th after Rizzo's home run had put the Cubs up in the top of the 9th. And then they rally in the bottom of the 12th. So the Mets need to win to stay 5 behind Washington. And Syndergaard giving them every chance to do that after getting some runs early. He has been spectacular tonight, retiring 14 in a row. Here's Jordy Mercer.
They've played 3 games in that series, right? Washington's taken 2 out of 3.
Yes.
They're done. I think they're done, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the last game between those two teams this year.
They got swept Washington series in Chicago. They got swept 4 games.
4 games, right. And they won 2 out of 3 in this series.
Well, the most notable about that series was that Joe Madden chose to walk Bryce Harper 13 times in that 4-game series. And Ryan Zimmerman could not come through, and in fact lost his cleanup spot.
Good recall, Ronnie, right there. You're right. That's where it all started.
Yep.
And they did not walk Harper nearly as much in this series. Grounded down to first. Loney with a nice sliding stop. And retires Mercer to end the inning. 2 nice plays by Loney back to back against Harrison and Mercer.
Very nice.
That's 15 in a row for Syndergaard. Halfway through, it's 4-0 New York. Recap: Matt Reynolds had a 2-run double in the first inning to help stake Noah Syndergaard to an early lead, and Syndergaard has taken the ball and run with it. Gave up a hit on the first pitch he threw. He's retired 15 in a row since. And the Mets have a 4-0 lead against Jeff Locke going to the bottom of the 5th. As Drupal Cabrera 1 for 2, singled and scored in the first inning. Cabrera, Cespedes, and Flores for the Mets in the 5th. And as Drupal takes that one into right field, his second hit of the night. Both have gone the other way. So they continue to play shifts, and Cabrera defied it twice.
You know, there was a time when you face a left-hander that's going to pitch you primarily away. You try to get your hits that way. It's been done since the beginning of time.
That's what we were talking about. It's something I would imagine you're going to see more and more of. Just makes sense. Here's Cespedes, who's walked and lined out to left, 0 for 1.
Third time through the order here. Let's see if Cespedes zeroes in. Coming in.
Attacked the first pitch his last time up and hit the ball hard, but right at the left fielder. Cabrera not a base stealing threat. Final game of this series tomorrow night. Our coverage begins at 6 o'clock right here on SNY. Bartolo Colon, who has been pitching wonderfully of late, will go for the Mets. Juan Nicasio, who pitched well against the Mets last week in Pittsburgh, but has otherwise had a difficult year, goes for the Pirates. Your City probables. Cespedes lines another one to left, and again at Marte, but it sinks and drops in front of him. Cabrera will go to third. Well, it looked like Marte had that all lined up, but it took a tumble, and I don't know where that ball hit him.
I think it might have got him in the coconut.
Yeah, I thought it hit him in the face.
He misplayed this ball, and that hurt.
Under his cap.
He misplayed this ball. Oh, jeez.
That hurts. And the trainer's going to come out and have a look.
He did knock his cap off, so.
Yeah, it got him right in the cheek, it looked like.
Lip? No, cheek. Good call. And yep, you can see a little welt there. Little walnut.
It was, you know, he misplayed it because it was hit with so much topspin, like a tennis forehand, that's what fooled him. What do they call that? A mouse. Got a little mouse working under his left eye.
We used to call it a walnut.
Walnut?
Gonna have to put a stake on that. Yeah, that thing is swollen up quickly. They're gonna have to get him out, aren't they?
No,
you don't want to.
No?
You don't want to come out after that.
No,
I wouldn't think.
No, you go in, you finish the inning, you go in, you have an ice pack ready for you. If it swells any worse,
don't you worry about it affecting his vision, though?
No, it's not going to affect his vision.
He's coming out of the game.
Yeah, of course he is.
Mart's able to smile about it, but they'll get some ice on that. And the Pirates will get a new left fielder into the game. Marte giving a little wave to Drupal Cabrera as he heads off.
He needs to get some ice on that.
Matt Joyce will go into left field. Interesting, because when we were in Pittsburgh and they had Joyce and Polanco in the game, they played Polanco in left and Joyce in right. Maybe because they have the big left field in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, because it's a little harder to play. You have to cover more ground in left field, definitely in Pittsburgh. Cover more ground here in right field at Citi Field.
Well, the Mets are poised to blow this game out of the gym right now. Let's see if Flores can do three in a row, Garrett.
Well, he's hit 2 little sidewinding ground balls. The first one drove in a run. They both went to the same spot to the right of the mound. Archimedes Caminero is up in the bullpen for the Pirates. Infield comes in against Flores, first and third, and nobody out. And the first pitch changeup misses.
Love that name.
Archimedes.
Archimedes Caminero.
He can bring it.
From the Ionian Islands.
Yeah. Corfu. Flores takes a fastball for a strike, 1-1. Kelly Johnson, who had a monstrous home run his last time up, is on deck. Cabrera at third, Cespedes at first, and Flores swings and misses, 1-2. Maybe the first swing and miss Locke's gotten all night from anybody other than Syndergaard.
And this had all right down the middle.
Cabrera led off with an opposite field hit. Cespedes hit that sinking line drive that knocked Marte out of the game. 1-2 coming, and Flores bloops one, shallow right. Polanco coming on, but that's going to drop for a hit. Cabrera is in. Cespedes heads to third, and he arrives safely. It's an RBI single for Wilmer Flores, his second RBI of the night, and it's 5-0 New York.
Wilmer's living right tonight.
Put him in the cleanup spot. He drives in runs somehow.
We got to get the exit velocity on those 3 swings by Wilmer. 2 ribbies.
3 straight hits against Locke, and that looks like it's going to be the end of his night. Clint Hurdle's on his way out, and even with the left-hand hitter coming up, they're going to bring Caminero into the game. So Locke is out after 4 innings plus. Mets have a 5-0 lead. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Verizon. Baseball on SNY is brought to you by the Lexus NX Turbo and Hybrid. Go beyond utility. By Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop in store or online at mybobs.com. And by Good Humor. Get sweet treats from Good Humor at the concession stand and look for the official ice cream truck in your neighborhood this summer, June 2nd through the 26th. Kelly Johnson homered his last time up, and Archimedes Caminero misses outside.
Well, the thing about Caminero, he's just coming off a rehab assignment where he had a strained left quad, but it's really been his control. 14 walks in 19 1/3 and 3 hit batters.
And the lefties and righties both hitting over 320 against him. And he falls behind on Johnson 2-0.
Been very unsuccessful in the first batters, too, to say the least. Jeez. 474.
Small sample size.
When you're a pitcher, you don't want to leave the game with any men on base.
Locke's already been charged with 5 runs and 4 innings plus, responsible for 2 more. And Johnson lines one into left center. That's down for a base hit. And that'll bring in Cespedes. 4 straight hits to start the 5th inning for New York. And it's 6-0 Mets.
Well, it's one of those days. You know, it's a funny game. And Mets have been struggling offensively, and everything they're hitting finds a hole. It hits some balls hard, and they've hit some wounded ducks, as this one.
And in Kelly Johnson's case, the guy who was not supposed to start tonight, Juan Lagares, with a late scratch. Johnson into the lineup. Homer single, 2 RBIs.
I wonder what they're going to do with Juan if that thumb is not enabling him to play.
Well, here's the thing. With Walker and Lagares compromised right now, they can't play 2-3 men short every day. They're going to have to do something with one of them.
Yes.
I mean, it's working out fine tonight for the Mets. 6 runs and 10 hits. Their best offensive output in a while, but got to give the manager players to work with who can play and are available. Matt Reynolds is 2 for 2 tonight. Reynolds delivered maybe the biggest hit in this game for the Mets. They were up 1-0 already in the first inning, 2 out and 2 on, and he battled Locke 7 pitches before he pulled one over the third base bag for a double that drove in 2 and made it 3-0. And with Syndergaard throwing the way he is tonight, that was an enormous first inning for the Mets, their best in a long time. Caminero at 99 gets a knee-high strike, 1-2. Archimedes Caminero, now 28 years old.
Guy that always will get a shot. When you can throw 99 miles an hour, you'll always be given a shot in that bullpen.
First came up with the Marlins in 2013.
A good year for the Pirates last year.
And he gets the ball in on Reynolds with the splitter, and that's the first out of the inning.
I mean, his stuff is nasty when he can get it near the plate.
So 1 out now. James Loney, who's 0 for 2 tonight, is flied out and grounded out. And a fastball strike to Loney. Flores at second, Johnson at first with 1 out. 2 runs home for the Mets here in the 5th. Even if the Mets don't score again here in the 5th, Jeff Locke in his last 2 starts has now given up 17 earned runs in 8 2/3 innings.
That would get you a one-way trip to the AAA.
0-2 to Loney with Rivera on deck. And he fouls back the fastball. Noah Syndergaard now 6 runs to the good. Only 58 pitches through 5 innings for Noah, so there's no telling how deep he might go into this game. Remember, he's pitching on a full week of rest, and you can almost tell.
Yep.
That little extra.
Well, he knew how important this game was, you know, even though he doesn't have a lot of major league experience. He knew what was going to be asked of him today. Go deep, you get the team a W.
Looking at Noah in the dugout with his helmet on reminds me that there's this groundswell of support for pitchers to have their own home run derby. Do you think that's a good idea or a bad idea?
I mean, I'm just not a fan of the home run derby at all. So even with the players, I have no interest in watching it. But that's just me. I'd be almost more interested to watch the pitchers have a home run derby than the players.
It's become a P.T. Barnum anyway, the All-Star game.
I understand that. My question is, do you worry about pitchers getting hurt over swinging in the home run derby?
I think if you make it one round of hitting a guy throwing 60 miles an hour from the mound, I don't think that's a problem. But all it would take is one pitcher to get hurt. That's all, and that's too much.
Pitchers do get obliques.
Boney strikes out. So back-to-back strikeouts for Caminero, 2 out.
You know, the thing is that Madison Bumgarner is a legitimate hitter.
Right.
You know, he's a legitimate tough guy in the lineup. You know, what does he have? 11 home runs and 190 at bats or so.
Last night he had a hit and 2 walks.
Yeah. So, you know, and he also was up when they wild pitched a guy home. So trying to pitch him tough.
It's just a whole different ball of wax now with ESPN and the 4 days off now and all the baloney that goes on in an All-Star game. And, you know, that disgraceful display in Milwaukee, was it, when they all took a plane to the ESPYs and they ran out of players? I mean, that was an embarrassment.
Well, winning or losing the All-Star game now has become, I mean, it seems secondary. I mean, it shouldn't be, but
you know, they hang a the home field advantage in the World Series on it, so it does have an impact. But it's not about league pride. I mean, they've eliminated the leagues.
That's right.
So, I mean, they've made it one big agglomeration now. So, I mean, it used to be that people identified with one league or the other.
Rivera drills another base hit. Around third comes Flores. The throw up the line by Joyce. And Flores scores easily on the Rene Rivera RBI single. And it's 7-0 New York.
Well, ball's ripped and a moonshot throw in, and very wisely the backhand runner Kelly Johnson advances to third on this artillery shell in. Watch, the catcher almost got hurt on the bat in the on-deck circle. Kelly makes the turn. You read the throw. You don't need your coach. There you go. Sweet. That is incoming. Look at the bat. The catcher had to kick the bat out of the way.
So Rene Rivera with his second hit of the night drives in a run. And those Syndergaard.
That closes the book on Mr. Locke.
Yes, it does.
Oh.
4 innings plus, 7 runs, 9 hits.
That'll get you into the local tavern.
ERA up to 5.92. Last 2 starts, 18 earned runs in 8 2/3 innings for Jeff Locke. Syndergaard has struck out twice tonight.
Well, Noah, one of the few times that he'll face 100 miles an hour.
Talking about his fair play. And the splitter. 2-2. That's put together 5 singles in this 5th inning. Haven't seen that often this year.
Jeez.
Full count to Syndergaard.
That's in a strike.
Syndergaard, the 8th man up in the inning. Rivera will run with 3 and 2 out. Granderson would be next. Seven runs tonight, the most the Mets have scored this month. 3-2 to Noah. And he walked him to load the bases. So Caminero, around a couple of strikeouts, has given up 2 hits and a walk. And now the 3 runners on base are his responsibility. And Curtis Granderson will be the 9th man up in the inning. Nobody up behind Caminero in the bullpen. It's up to him to get through this mess. Curtis tonight 1 for 3. Looped a single to lead off the first inning and scored a run. Ray Searage, the pitching coach, trudging out to the mound to talk to Caminero. As he reaches the dirt of the mound, the clock's at 15.
You know what? This is the time where I like this role. Oh, I was saying that last year he played a big part in that bullpen. 73 games, 73 strikeouts, only 29 walks, which is not awful. He's going to reach that much quicker the rate he's going right now.
Johnson now at third, Rivera at second, Syndergaard at first. And a chance for Granderson to add to the damage. And Curtis takes a fastball strike.
He's got the same kind of build as Cecilia Guante, doesn't he?
He does.
Caminero.
Oh.
Follows through like him. Guante had the split finger also, if I recall.
Did he throw this hard?
He threw hard.
Granderson lifts one to right center, and McCutchen waiting for it to come down. That retires the side, but 9 Mets came to bat, and 3 of them scored. 7-0 New York after 5. Welcome Dead & Company to Citi Field Saturday, June 25th and Sunday, June 26th. Original Grateful Dead members are united with an all-star cast, including John Mayer. For tickets, visit Mets.com/Dead & Company.
Bob Weir with that group?
Yes, I believe so. Seam heads. Noah Syndergaard now with a 7-0 lead. Eric Kratz will lead off in the 6th inning. Syndergaard's retired 15 in a row after giving up a leadoff hit in the 1st. And Kratz takes a strike. Sean Rodriguez out on deck to pinch hit. Syndergaard gave up a hit on the first pitch he threw tonight to John Jay, so he singled to center. And nobody's reached since. Eric Kratz, who first got to the big leagues with the Pirates as a 30-year-old, turning 36 today, and he's gone full circle through 5 different teams before returning to the Pirates.
With the Fighting Phils, right? Is that his first team that he came up with?
Pirates.
Oh, okay.
And then the Phillies. And he strikes out. 7 strikeouts for Syndergaard. 1 out and nobody on. Sean Rodriguez will pinch it. We check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Gary, we continue our coverage and series on Mets different gloves that they wear, and we're going to do it with Wilmer Flores tonight. He's an interesting guy because even though he's settled into third base, he has so many gloves because he has to be prepared to play any position on the infield. When he travels, he actually travels with 5 different gloves. 3 of them are game ready. 1 for third base, which is 11 3/4 inches. 1 on the middle infield that he can use at second or short, 11 1/2 inches. It's actually Ruben Tejada's old glove, and then 1 for first base, which is 13 inches. Also has a middle infield glove he's still trying to break in, as well as a batting practice glove. The 2 interesting gloves are the third base and the batting practice glove. Third base, 11 3/4 inches, is actually a little small, and Wilmer Flores acknowledges that. He's got a 12-inch glove on order. But why he likes the smaller glove right now is he's not comfortable with the big glove. He doesn't feel like he can feel the ball, and he struggles with the transfer a little bit, finding the baseball. In terms of what he does for his batting practice glove, that is a really small glove. It's 11 1/4 inches, and that whole point is that he wants to see the glove, the baseball into the glove during batting practice when he takes down balls, and also really get into his legs and bend down while he's working.
Slowly hit. Cabrera charging. Makes the running toss, and Loney with a nice scoop to retire Rodriguez. 2 men down.
Third nice play by Loney on a scoop this time. 2 nice ground balls he picked. And now a nice scoop. A little backhand.
So that's his MO, Keith. He doesn't go out and get it.
He does not.
He kind of sits on the base and kind of plays whatever hop he gets.
He does it with it's a close play too. You don't get a stretch out of him. I mean, that's fine. He's comfortable with it. It's something I would not do, but.
Jaso lines 1 to center, and he's got the 2nd hit for the Pirates tonight. So after Syndergaard had retired 17 in a row, Jaso gets the 2nd safety. Going back to what Steve was talking about with his report about Wilmer's gloves, is it unusual for a third baseman to use that small a glove?
Well, I think in today's game, because today's game, I almost want to say that the tipping point was Robin Ventura. When he started using a long, bigger glove at third base, a lot of third basemen started to go to that glove, knowing that they'd not have time to get it out of the glove, but wanting, because the ball gets on them so quick, to have a bigger mitt.
I think with the third baseman, just what they prefer, their preference. Middle infielders, they got to have the tinier gloves to turn to.
Well, we've also seen over the years third basemen work more to the backhand rather than getting over in front of the ball. I mean, we've seen it with David Wright, right? That do or die backhand playing, and I guess a bigger glove serves you there. Right?
Well, going to your left or right, yes. Absolutely. You got a little extra, an inch there and add it, or a half inch there. You might get to a ball you wouldn't. But I always feel that you should. I don't agree with the backhand. I think you get in front of that ball whenever you can. All infield positions.
Two and one to Polanco. Do you think, in general, it's easier or harder to go from a bigger glove to a smaller glove, or a smaller glove to a bigger glove?
I think a smaller glove to a big glove, because it's easier to take the ball out of the smaller glove in an exchange. Bigger glove, it's a little more difficult. It's not horribly difficult, but it's a little more cumbersome.
Pulled toward the hole, and Polanco's got a base hit. Jaso will pull on its second, so back-to-back 2-out hits for the Pirates as they begin the third time around the batting order against Syndergaard.
Well, very interesting with Polanco, and I like his thought process here. He's been made to look very bad with 2 strikeouts, his first 2 at-bats on sliders down and in. And he went up there and wasn't worried about the slider. He said, I want to get a fastball to hit, and he gets a base hit. You still got to look into your strengths.
So Syndergaard has to deal with a runner at second base for the first time tonight. And he'll face Andrew McCutchen, who's 0 for 2 tonight. Been no chance for the Pirates to unleash their running game tonight. Jaso, the only guy who's gotten aboard, no threat to go anywhere. And now they're down by 7 runs. And McCutchen takes a strike. He just looks unprepared. Is that the right word?
Well, you see what happened there is when you're struggling, the first pitch he believes is not only in, but it's down. So he doesn't believe it's the right call from the umpire. And when you're struggling, Keith, you can talk to this better. It almost seems like everything's going against you.
And he's said that publicly. He said, I'm not getting the calls that I've gotten before. That time waving at the slider, and it's 0-2.
And you've got a most valuable player, all-star, veteran player, and a rookie umpire in Ben May, and a little bit of intimidation there, trying to intimidate.
Well, he's going to get hot. You just hope he doesn't get hot in the next.
If he gets healthy, he will get hot.
Yes, too good a player.
Syndergaard has struck out 7 tonight. Naked 8 as he gets McCutchen frozen. Another poor at bat for McCutchen. Another dominating performance by Syndergaard. 6 scoreless innings and a 7-0 lead. Well, another fruitless at bat for Andrew McCutchen, and he's coming out of the game in a double switch, and he looks lost. You know, I mean, we've never seen him this way before.
Well, it tells you how tough the game is. Also, it's easier to see it when you're going up against a guy on top of his game like Syndergaard, is throwing 100 miles an hour on the black.
Sean Rodriguez will stay in center field as McCutchen comes out, and the new Pirate pitcher is Rob Scahill.
His third stint with the Pirates this year. He's acquired from the Colorado Rockies a couple seasons ago out of Bradley University.
Asdrubal Cabrera is already 2 for 3 tonight. Bats left-handed for the first time and takes ball 1. Cabrera, Cespedes, and Flores for the Mets on a breakout offensive night for New York with a makeshift lineup. 7 runs and 11 hits over the first 5 innings. And Scahill falls behind 2-0.
Be tempted as a manager, wouldn't you, to throw the same lineup out tomorrow? I mean, it's not like it was a 4 lefty starting pitcher, right?
Be interesting to see. Mets are facing a right-hander, Juan Nicasio, tomorrow night. 2-1 to Cabrera. Jeff Locke did not fare well. 4 innings plus, 7 runs, 9 hits. Archimedes Caminero didn't help him. Allowed 2 inherited runners to score. Gave up 2 hits and a walk in his inning of work. And now Scahill in a 7-0 game. Two and 2 to Cabrera.
Somehow I doubt that fastball that Scahill is throwing is 94 miles an hour.
That's what it says on the board. You have to believe.
Well, it's all relevant. But
we have precise electronics here.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, right.
Tim Henderson with a pie plate. That's pulled down to first, and Jaso handles it. And Cabrera retired 1 out. Cespedes coming up. So tonight, or this afternoon, I should say, something kind of extraordinary happened. Ichiro Suzuki picked up 2 hits in the Marlins' loss in San Diego. And with those, if you combine his major league numbers with his numbers in the Japanese professional leagues, he has 4,257 hits, 1 more than Pete Rose had in his major league career.
Great accomplishment that someone could come to the major leagues at 27 years old and be 21 or 20 hits shy of 3,000 now. And of course, the number that is driving Pete Rose nuts.
Well, that's the part that I don't really understand. Why should Pete care? I mean, it's not as though anybody's saying that Ichiro has the major league record. He doesn't. He has a different record, and yet Pete just can't stop talking.
No.
I agree with you, Ron. Coming up at 27 and getting those, you have to be a leadoff hitter. You don't walk, and you have to hit for a high average. It's very similar on the opposite end what Warren Spahn did.
There you go.
Coming up late in his career, and Steve Carlton couldn't catch him. He's the all-time winning left-hander in Major League Baseball history.
363 wins.
Well, Pete's still the all-time hit king.
Well, even though he obviously feels slighted by the attention Ichiro is getting. Cespedes has walked and singled tonight, 1 for 2. And he drills that one a base hit. That's 3 bullets in a row he's hit to left field. First one was caught. Second one bounced and hit Marte in the face. And this one, no casualties.
Rocket. Mercer hit too hard. Very powerful hitter. That ball just jumps off his bat. Now, this is a guy I would play more of the shift on. Gary, he's more of a pull hitter.
Although he has shown this year he's at least willing to use the right side of the field. More so than the past. There's Flores, who's had a very odd night at the plate. He's hit 3 balls very softly, 2 squib ground balls and a bloop to right, and with that he's driven in 2 runs.
I think all the 3 at bats he's probably hit the ball less than 100 yards. But you know what? They're line drives in the paper. You take them any way you can get them, and they are 2 ribeye steaks for him.
And he rockets this one to deep left field. Nothing cheap about that. Wilmer Flores with a 2-run homer. A 4 RBI night for Wilmer and a 9-0 Met lead. Second home run of the year for Flores.
Dudes, keep him in cleanup.
The Mets are dropping the forfeit on him.
Nice to see.
The Mets offense, which had languished, has flourished tonight. And Wilmer's driven in 4 of the 9 in his first stint this year as a cleanup hitter. Kelly Johnson bangs one on the ground. Long run for Gong to get to it, and it's too late. And Kelly's got his 3rd hit of the night.
Well, Wilmer likes to drop the barrel down, likes that ball. Oh, hang and slide ball. It's like the pinball machine lighting up when you see that coming in. You get those flippers going.
And it's tilt for the pitcher.
Well, Wilmer came into the night with 5 RBIs through his first 95 at-bats of the year. He's got 4 RBIs in his 4 at-bats tonight. Here's Matt Reynolds, who's 2 for 3. Doubled in 2 runs back in the first. That's now with 14 hits on the night. When it rains, it pours.
Well, this is a shift hit right here. Gong's got some nice range.
And that's a third baseman playing the ball behind the second base bag.
Probably had that play 1,000 times in Korea, though.
So how do you figure this, Keith? You've been part of these things for a long time. You look at the play at first base. You got a team that just can't get out of its own way offensively.
Right.
And then you have a night like this. I mean, how do you, if you were trying to explain it to somebody who had never watched baseball before, how could you explain how a team has a night like this when they've just had such a difficult time of it for such a long period of time?
Well, it's the baseball gods, Gar, and it just seems like when it rains, it pours. Ronnie's had starts where he's gone out there and everything drops, and get yourself in trouble and get behind, and all of a sudden you get ripped. And it's something you can't put your finger on.
Reynolds strikes out for the second out. Is there any way, I mean, this sounds almost silly.
Yeah.
Is there any way to take a night like this and make it more than one night? Or is it just you have to go up there, each at bat's separate, and it all falls into place as it does?
Well, you've got to feel good about it collectively as a team. And for those that had individual good days that were struggling, you got to feel good about it. And you carry it into the next day. But the old saying, when the game's over, turn the page. You know, that's history. Every game is different.
Momentum's only as good as your next day's starting pitcher. And Loney shoots one over the unoccupied bag and down the line. Johnson on his way to third. He's going to be waved home. And the relay to the plate is not in time. Loney with a run-scoring double, and it's 10-0 Mets. It's been hit them where they ain't night.
Yeah. Well, the Pirates are going to be in big trouble with this pitching staff they're running out there. They're going to have their problems getting into the postseason.
You know, it's all fun and games now because it's 10-0. But I still think as Johnson rounds the bases to score, that hit by Reynolds in the first inning changed everything, because it gave you 3 runs with your best pitcher right now on the mound.
Yep.
And it almost like a sigh of relief. Okay, we're all right now. We got our guy throwing strikes. We're going to go out. Let's just relax and try to get some good at bats.
And a team, Gary, struggling with men on third base. Bases loaded, trying to get those runs in. It would have been another failure of an inning, coming away with 1 run.
Here's Rene Rivera, who's had a part tonight, a single, a double. He's driven in a run. That's with 15 hits tonight, matching their season high. And other than Syndergaard, everybody in the lineup has at least 1 hit. Third time tonight, the Mets have scored 3 runs in an inning. They hadn't done it in 3 weeks. And they've done it 3 times in the first 6 innings tonight. Reasons to be cheerful. Part 3.
This is a kind of a game where you would maybe take out some of your regulars and put in some the latter part of the game, get some of your bench and at bat here, but you don't have much of a bench.
Popped up. Jaso retreating right along the line, catches it in foul territory. That retires the side. But the Mets score 3 more. 2 of them on a Wilmer Flores home run. Wilmer having himself a big night. His second home run of the season. And the Mets cruising 10-0 after 6. For the new podcast, Inside the Park with Steve Gelbs.
Oh,
and he'll even look into the camera. This week, Steve profiles Mets second baseman Neil Walker. Hear the eerie yet fascinating story about Neil's dad and legendary Pirates outfielder Roberto Clemente on Mets blog, presented by Citi.
I just found out that Neil Walker's father was a Cardinal and a teammate at one time for a short period of time. I didn't know that.
Jung Ho Gong leading off in the 7th inning.
I mean,
yeah, he mentioned that when Steve interviewed him in Pittsburgh during Neil's homecoming. That he had
have to go back and see what year that was.
76, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. But the reason that's bounced slowly for Cabrera, and he throws out Gong one away. The reason that Tom Walker was honored in Pittsburgh was that he had thrown in the Texas League a 15-inning no-hitter
in Tulsa.
He was inducted into the Texas League Hall of Fame. And you know, Neil was there to share in the festivities. Nice to see Neil back in the ballpark after he went to the back doctor today. We should hear more about that after the game today.
Very fond memories of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
What were they called when you were there?
Oilers.
Yeah, drillers by the time I got there.
Tulsa was where you ended up in a ditch one time during
the tornado.
A tornado.
7 funnels. Talk about again being scared.
Matt Joyce up for the first time.
Our road uniforms were like the old pirate uniforms, black with the yellow and white on the.
Oh, really?
So it was like the bumblebees. Ugly.
So Tom Walker was a Cardinal for 10 games in 1976.
Do you know the exact dates that he pitched?
I don't have that for you, but I'm going to try, Keith.
Do the game log, Gary.
Come on, try really hard.
Do the game log.
Well, you're making Gary spend more attention than you did as Tom was your teammate.
It was in September, Keith.
Oh, so he saw me wear it out.
1 and 2 to Joyce. I'm sure that's what he remembers more than anything else.
I had a great September in '76.
Were you guys in the race that year?
No, we were not. We were terrible. Red got fired. We got Red fired.
2 and 2 to Joyce. So let me just get this straight. You had a meaningless great September.
Meaningless great September. That was the year that turned my career around. I had a horrible first half, and I hit .333 the second half of the season. Turned my career around.
Joyce strikes out. That's 9 for Syndergaard.
Yeah, he's double-digit bound.
Good curveball here.
He's had it all going on.
It's a pitch in his first start in Wrigley Field. We saw 25% of the time, and if we see what, 10 of them a night, it's a lot.
Don't you remember his first spring training with the Mets? That was the one that Terry called the hook from hell.
That's right. I did forget that.
And now the slider has become such an enormous pitch for him that the curveball's kind of been shunted into the background.
So he's showing off now.
There's Harrison, who's 0 for 2. And he fouls one off Rivera's mask. Get your jaw loosened.
Boy, right on the chin.
So in September and October of 1976, Keith, you hit .331.
Oh, yeah.
17 RBIs in 36 games.
Raked. Bullets everywhere, all over the field.
4 home runs.
Do you know how Tom did in September?
Blistered the ball, Gary.
And more verbs that we haven't even thought of.
I just got a text from Ed Lynch from wherever he's at. 33rd anniversary of the Mets coming to the Metsies. So I sent him back. Oh ho ho ooh ah.
So it's a great anniversary in Mets history because it's 33 years since they acquired you,
Yes.
and it is 47 years since they acquired Don Clendenin. But it's also 39 years since they traded Tom Seaver. Line down the line, just foul.
That's right.
Maybe the darkest day in Mets history, June 15th of 1977.
As an opposing player on the Cardinals, when they traded Seaver, it was just stunning. It was just as stunning as when the Reds traded Pete Rose. And Pete went to Montreal, Gary?
Went to Montreal before Philly?
Philly, you're right. I think he was a free agent, and they let him go. I'm not sure. Those two players getting moved were stunning as a peer.
You can't believe what Shea Stadium was like later that season when Tom came back to pitch against the Mets. The entire ballpark was rooting for Seaver.
Was it jammed?
It was crazy. I mean, it was like the world had been turned upside down.
Pat Zachary, Doug Flynn, Steve Henderson. Norman's the one everybody forgets.
Two. Harrison taps one. Reynolds comes in to get it. Side retired. 7 tremendous innings for Noah Syndergaard, and he's probably not done yet. 10-0 New York at the stretch.
Play ball, and the New York Jets are looking to help local leagues in need with grants, equipment donations, clinics, and special Jets experiences. Does your league need assistance? Apply today at sny.tv/playball. Noah Syndergaard will lead off the home 7th against Rob Scahill, who begins his 2nd inning of relief.
First,
Syndergaard 2 strikeouts and a walk so far tonight. The only Mets starter without a hit. But that's okay, because you know the old saying, anytime a pitcher gets 4 trips to the plate,
right.
He's had a good night. And he certainly has. He's had a great night. Noah takes a rip, and it's 2-1. So I was just looking. Syndergaard tonight has struck out 9, no walks. And he hits that sharply, but Harrison has the hop. 1 away. So Syndergaard this year is now at 12 walks and 104 strikeouts.
Amazing.
Which is fantastic,
Yes.
right? Except you know what Clayton Kershaw has? 7 walks and 133 strikeouts after he struck out 11 today. Here's your Mets box score presented by New York Community Bank. Wilmer Flores has driven in 4, 2 of them with a home run. Kelly Johnson has 3 hits, including a home run. Matt Reynolds had that huge 2-run double in the first. Mets box score littered with hits tonight. What a contrast.
what a difference a day makes.
24 little hours.
Very good, Gary.
I know yesterday you were saying crickets.
Well, yesterday they didn't have a hit in the first 6 innings. Tonight they have 15.
That's right.
Granderson's 1 for 4. He had the first of the 15 hits, a bloop single leading off the first.
Oh, well. Perfect.
So are you going to have your jockey tie ready for the Travers Stakes
No.
at Saratoga this summer?
Well, I may keep an eye on that.
Taking high 1 and 2. You ever been to Saratoga?
I have not.
I have not either.
Gotta go if you.
No, everyone
I heard
tells me.
it's baseball season when they run up there.
But you don't work every day.
It's a long way up there, you know. We travel so.
And another base hit where nobody's playing. The Mets have had a whole slew of those tonight.
Opposite field.
Both of Granderson's hits have gone to left field tonight.
That ball's hit hard too. A little inside out by Curtis. Does that front foot step first all the time. Gets it planted.
16 hits, new season high for the Mets this season. 7 of the Mets have at least 2 hits, including Cabrera, who's 2 for 4 tonight. So we mentioned Kershaw today. He beat the Diamondbacks 10-1, 1.58.
Wow.
With 133 strikeouts and 7 walks. But almost as good, his NL West rival Johnny Cueto, who beat the Brewers today. He's 10-1, 2.10. And the Giants maintain a 6-game lead on the Dodgers in the West.
Well, the Dodgers are a good team when Kershaw pitches. I mean, it's just so different when he's out there.
And they almost lost another pitcher last night. Kenta Maeda took a shot off his leg. Fortunately, he's okay.
Look, he was helped off. It looked like he broke his leg.
And the Giants got off to a tough start, and they got hot, and they haven't looked back.
And they're doing it with a makeshift outfield as Cabrera strikes out for the 2nd out. 2nd strikeout for Scahill.
Little slider down and into Cabrera. Were you guys as thrilled as I was that Jose Feliciano was on the field, not on the field, but in the well to sing a.
Sung "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
I know.
Very nice.
Well, I remember, and I know you guys. Well, I know Keith does. I don't know if you're old enough to remember the 1968 World Series.
Of course, I do.
Where Jose Feliciano played a wonderful version of the national anthem, but at the time, it was scandalous.
Right.
Right.
Well, it was never been done without not traditionally.
Non-traditionally.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
A soulful, jazzy version of the anthem, which was just magnificent.
much as like his recording his cover of "Light My Fire," which was just absolutely fantastic.
If you've never heard it, you can call it up on YouTube. Jose Feliciano singing the anthem at the '68 series. It's it sounds like, I mean, it's nothing outrageous at all, but especially on the national stage there, and especially in the turbulent times in the '60s when everybody was taking sides.
Well, '68 was a particularly tough year.
That's right.
It really caused an uproar, but it also, you know, it was a watershed, really, in a lot of ways. Cespedes lines one the other way, and he has his third hit of the night. So after drilling 3 straight balls to left field, he takes one the other way. And the Mets have their 17th hit.
Boy, oh boy. The shift is taking a pounding tonight.
It is, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of these Pirate defenders next inning come out with some body armor. Rockets being hit out here.
You know, Feliciano was invited to sing the national anthem by Ernie Harwell, because Ernie loved jazz, loved Jose Feliciano, and that's where the invite came from.
Really?
Yes.
Of course, Ernie was a songwriter in his own right.
That's right.
I wonder if Ernie caught a little bit of grief for that. I did not know
Yeah.
that.
I heard that from Ernie himself. So
Nobody could ever be angry at Ernie Harwell.
No.
The nicest man ever.
Kratz trying to frame that. Just missed it with the 10-0 score.
Yep, that's what it's
Just
called.
stay where you are. Granderson at second, Cespedes at first.
It's like I'm putting down numbers here and I'm not successful. I'm getting ripped.
Flores has already driven in 4 runs tonight with a ground out, a single, and a 2-run homer. And after falling behind 2-0, Scahill's going to get a visit. Is there any grass left in the path between the Pirates' dugout and the mound?
He beat his.
Ray Searage has worn it out.
He beat his time, though. He got out there in 20 seconds. 20 seconds left this time.
All right, 10 and counting. Here comes the umpire. Home plate umpire is Ben May.
Corey Lupke up in the bullpen for the Pirates.
There we go. All right, let's break up the tea party. Keep that front shoulder in. Focus on the plate.
You'd be a lot of fun to talk to as a pitching coach.
Coming up tonight after the postgame show, it's Geico Sports Night. Doug Williams will have it for you. Anybody want Reyes? Anybody? Anybody?
Giants and Jets
Bueller?
might need him.
Oh, yeah. Well, minicamp. The Mets had 17 hits combined in their last 3 games. 7, 7, and 3. They've got 17 hits tonight.
4 RBIs for Wilmer tonight. Big night.
Ground ball. Gong with a nice short hop pickup. And he goes to first to get the out that retires the side. Gong continues to impress with his defense. Not an easy hop. After 7, 10-0 New York. Brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. What facts do we have for you? Well, we have Noah Syndergaard's last 8 games, and he's still producing lightning. I mean, he's supposed to be the god of thunder, right?
That's right. Well, we do what we
Oh, there
can.
we go. There's the thunder. Did you hear it?
Oh, we can barely hear it.
Well,
we need louder on the thunder.
There
we go. Thank you.
That may be the best thing that's happened all year. Alejandro De Aza comes into play center field, giving Cespedes the rest of the night off. Meanwhile, Syndergaard will pitch the 8th inning. Jordy Mercer leads off and takes a fastball for a strike at 98 miles an hour. It's been pretty easy for Syndergaard tonight. Just 3 singles, no walks, 9 strikeouts in 7 scoreless innings. Mercer's 0 for 2 tonight. Eric Kratz on deck, and then Sean Rodriguez at the bottom of the batting order for the Pirates. Syndergaard has pitched 8 innings on 1 occasion this year. That was in L.A. That's hit out to left center. Johnson over in the gap with De Aza, and Johnson runs it down. Ellie Johnson playing his first game in the outfield since returning to the Mets and makes a nice running play.
That was fun to watch because Kelly was like the veteran. He's running and said, "Come on, are you going to catch this? No, come on, are you going to catch this? All right, I guess I have to catch it."
Where are you? I guess it's me. Well done.
Remember when Lenny and Mookie collided?
That's right.
Left center. It was on a play like that. There's Eric Kratz, and he went around in a half swing. I thought neither one of them was going to get up.
They spun around like a helicopter rotor.
Wasn't the worst collision I've ever seen, but it was the most spectacular one because they were both flying out there. The worst one was, of course, the one in San Diego with Beltran and Mike Cameron, where they went head-to-head like 2 missiles in shallow right center.
Is that 05?
Yeah.
I mean, try to hit this, folks.
Good luck.
If I recall, Mookie and Lenny had a horrible collision in left center field, right? We just talked about that. I wasn't paying attention, was I?
Clearly not.
I was.
No.
I was fiddling with my.
I would say
my scorecard.
I would say that was a quick recall.
And then Mook got hit in that rundown. Remember in spring training?
Oh. Right in the eye.
Right in the eye, and put him out for. We had to go without him for. What year was that?
They all bleed into another now. I want to say 87.
Everything happened in 87.
You're right.
Yep. 1-2 to Kratz.
Oh boy.
Another high fastball, 99 miles an hour, and that's strikeout number 10 for Syndergaard. Let's check in with the studio. Michelle Yu has a game break brought to you by the New York State Smokers Quit Line. Noah Syndergaard with his 4th double-digit strikeout game of the year and the 9th of his career. Here's Sean Rodriguez.
Well, 2 back-to-back strikeouts of Kratz, and both like this. Total overmatch.
It is not the way you want to spend your 36th birthday.
It's like a split screen. The fastballs in fast motion, the swings in slow motion.
Rodriguez up for the 2nd time, grounded out to short in the 6th.
People now starting to cheer for strikeouts. 2 strikes.
This has just been a brilliant performance by Syndergaard.
Oh, 2. Hang another hammer. Strikeout number 11 for Noah Syndergaard. In a brilliant season, his most dominating performance yet. Syndergaard keeps reaching new levels. He has been absolutely fabulous tonight.
And I think he set the tone. And Ron, we talked about it in between innings, that gas he was throwing, 100 miles an hour gas in that first inning. I just think the extra days off, he's strong, just set the tone.
Now the question is, will they get a chance to go 9? There's nobody up at the moment in the Mets bullpen.
I think he's going to get a chance. And also, do you see that look? His look hasn't gone away. He still is locked in on the game, watching the ball every place it went as Lubke comes in to pitch. Scahill, we said before, it was his 3rd stint with the team this year. It also is Lubke's also.
Kelly Johnson's had a huge night, 3 for 4, 2 RBIs, including a home run. Johnson, Reynolds, and Loney. Remember, Johnson was not in the original starting lineup. Juan Lagares scratched when his torn wrist acted up, and Johnson's taken advantage of the opportunity. Gong throws out Johnson for the first down in the home 8th. Well, it does look as though Syndergaard's going to get the 9th. The Mets have not had a complete game this season. In fact, their last one was early last September when Bartolo Colon threw a shutout in Miami. And it looks like Syndergaard's going to get a chance to compete for a complete game tonight.
You know, we were mentioning that in the open, weren't we, Gary? Is that when you go through these tough times, sometimes you got to do some things a little different, and at least maybe to the All-Star break with a couple of days off, maybe you got to push.
Reynolds finds the right field line for his 3rd hit of the night, and he legs it to second for a stand-up double. So the hits just keep on coming.
Beautiful night for Reynolds.
How many hits going the other way for the Mets?
I like it.
It's nice, right?
Spraying that ball. 3 for 5 for Reynolds. 2 RBIs, 2 doubles.
But I was saying in the open that if you're trying to do things a little different here to the All-Star break, you push your strengths. What are your strengths? Your starting pitchers. So maybe you're going to have to ask more of them, at least to the All-Star break, to pull you through these next couple of weeks.
Well, not a hint of action in that bullpen.
Month, excuse me.
Here's Loney, who had an opposite field double to drive in a run his last time up. 18 hits for the Mets tonight.
Oh.
And Loney has to vacate. An off-speed pitch from Lubke.
Yeah, breaking ball that didn't break. It's the only reason he was able to get out of the way.
Right. Clearly didn't get on top of that breaking ball, Ron.
You are full of information for the pitchers tonight.
Loney lifts one to left, and Joyce is there. 2 out. Well, here's Rene Rivera, who's 2 for 4 tonight, a single and a double. And Syndergaard has a bat in his hands, and that draws an ovation. The complete game is such a rarity in baseball these days that in and of itself draws a reaction. Just the fact that the fans now realize that Syndergaard is going to take them out for the night.
Well, what's interesting is that it even changes some of the way the semantics how people talk about the game. I had people come up to me all the time and say, boy, that was a great shutout last night by so-and-so. I said, well, he only pitched 7 innings. Yeah, but he shut him out. So, well, the shutout really only occurs when you pitch 9 innings.
8 scoreless innings.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
I mean, think about it in these terms. If Syndergaard gets to the plate in this inning, it'll be his 5th plate appearance. How often in today's game does a pitcher get 5 plate appearances?
You're right.
By the way, you know the last pitcher to have 5 hits in a game.
No. Mel Stottlemyre?
Mel Stottlemyre.
Oh, that's right.
1964, I believe, his rookie year. Back before the DH. your pitching coach?
More than that.
Great guy.
Can't even describe what he meant to all of us.
I love Mel. Still do. Nice man.
Yep. One thing I'm sure of, and it happened luckily 13 times in my career, after you go 9 innings and not give up a run, steak tastes better. Beer tastes better.
Oh,
it's just
it's like that 5 for 5.
Yeah,
I understand.
You're right.
Noah had one shutout in his minor league career last year with Las Vegas. Rivera takes one the other way. Polanco coming on, but he short hops it, and Rivera's got another hit, and Reynolds trots home with another run, and it's 11-0 New York.
And Syndergaard gets to get up for the 5th time.
A 3-hit, 2 RBI night for Rene Rivera.
Well, they're all dropping. When it rains, it pours. The sun is shining on the Mets tonight.
And the roar you just heard was for the announcement of Syndergaard for this last at bat. Noah has never thrown a pitch in the 9th inning of a major league game. He'll get a chance to do that for the first time in a few moments.
And he's going to try to join the hit parade here. He's the only guy hitless tonight.
0 for 3 and a walk. Now the breaking ball gets him looking to end the inning. But Syndergaard has more work to do. They'll take the mound for the 9th, trying to finish off a shutout. Syndergaard set to do something he's never done before, throw a pitch in the 9th inning of a major league game. He'll face the top of the batting order, John Jaso, who has 2 of the 3 hits against him tonight. And he takes the first pitch curveball outside. Jaso singled to center on Noah's first pitch of the night. He singled to center on the first pitch again in the 6th, which is probably why Syndergaard started him with a curve.
Yes.
Second pitch, changeup.
One of the rare times that Syndergaard's been behind in the count all night. And Jerry Familia hasn't had any work the last few days, so he's going to get ready in case Syndergaard can't finish. And that is only the second 3-ball count of this entire game for Syndergaard. Comes on his 100th pitch. By the way, his only complete game in the minors was a 7-inning complete game. So he's never gone 9 as a professional.
Well, it's like a fish out of water, Gary. I mean, you know, he's never thrown a pitch in the 9th. These kids aren't used to throwing a pitch in the 9th. So when you get out there, you're anxious. You have some anxiety about wanting to finish it off.
Yep. 3-1 to Jaso, and he fouls off the fastball. And now Noah's worked his way back to 3-2. He struck out 11, walked none. Allowed 3 singles.
Look at that sparkling earned run average.
This is where you hope you just throw one on the outside part and he hits one to Diaz in center field.
3-2. Line right center. Diaz over in the gap. He's not going to get to it. And Jaso's got his 3rd hit of the night. And the first extra base hit for the Pirates against Syndergaard. So the Pirates have 4 hits and Jaso has 3 of the 4.
Wow, that's a pretty special game by Jaso.
Out over the plate fastball. He seems to be the only one to have solved Syndergaard.
So now Gregory Polanco, who had the other hit for the Pirates, that came in the 6th. And Rivera has to scoop that up, and he's going to run it out to Syndergaard, who all of a sudden is finding the going not so easy.
I think you're right, Ronnie. It's more psychological.
It's absolutely.
Just no other explanation. He's not tired.
David Freese out on deck to pinch hit. The pitcher spot due up next.
You know, even though they're not put in that position anymore, they know what it means to throw a big league shutout. It's major. It's a big deal. Even with a score like this.
What happened the last time a Met pitcher had 8 scoreless innings and started the 9th?
I'm going to let you go there. I'm not going.
No.
I know what you're saying.
That was agonizing for Terry Collins because of the circumstances with Matt Harvey, but this is just Noah trying to finish something off with a huge lead. And now he's 2-0 to Polanco and now really angry at himself.
Yeah.
Do you wait till they score a run, or do you pull him if he walks this guy?
No, I think this is, to me, this is his last batter.
Yeah.
If he walks Polanco on 4 pitches or gives up a knock, he's done his job. But he's frustrated. I don't want him to throw any pitches frustrated.
And he'll throw his next start on normal rest after getting 2 extra days of rest heading into this one. And frankly, I think that's why he got the 9th tonight, because he had those 2 extra days of rest. I mean, there's no need for him to pitch the 9th. You've got an 11-0 lead and a rested bullpen.
He'll get another extra day, won't he? Monday's an off day before Kansas City.
Oh, you're right.
So he'll have another extra day.
I miscalculated. You're absolutely right. 2-1 to Polanco. And nasty breaking ball.
That's the pitch that Polanco has had a tough time laying off.
Syndergaard struck Polanco out his first 2 at-bats before Polanco singled to right his last time up.
Polanco just loves that ball down, and I know that probably the slider is the pitch that's coming here. I haven't seen the Mets exploit him in and at the belt. I think he's got to have a hole there if you like the ball down as much as he does.
2-2. He just got a piece of that fastball. Still throwing 99 in the 9th inning.
He's pitching a game which I am unfamiliar with.
Most people are. Back to Noah. Will settle for the out at first. And that's the first down in the 9th. He had Jaso hung up if he wanted to go after him, so the shutout may be in jeopardy here.
I think he was surprised that that ball found his glove, to tell you the truth.
I think he wants to get this over with and get in the clubhouse.
So if he's going to get the shutout, he might need a strikeout here against David Freese with a runner at 3rd and 1 out. Certainly the Mets are not going to play the infield in. Up by 11 runs.
That's good at bat by Polanco.
109 pitches, matches Syndergaard's season high. Here's Freese, and he goes after the first slider, 0-1. Most pitches Noah's thrown in any big league start is 116. That was last year in July against Arizona. And Freese takes the strike, and it's 0-2.
Slider, then the curveball. Can't hit it.
Can't hit it when you don't swing. Got fooled on that one.
Got a piece. .99 miles an hour on his 112th pitch. He's thrown 101 earlier in the game. It's a lot of shakes.
Well, you know what the great thing about this, and whatever the outcome of this inning is that he's pitched in the 9th. He's out there. He knows what it's like to try to get that shot. All of that stuff, most young pitchers don't get a feel for that. This is going to be part of that learning curve, those building blocks that are going to put him in a place, rarefied air.
0-2 to Freese.
Oh, didn't call it.
Just off the plate.
Squeezed him.
That was off the plate, but he could have called it.
He could have called him at this kind of game. Yes, he could have rung him up.
Santana got him with a changeup.
That's right. That's right.
Of course, David Freese made the last out of Johan Santana's no-hitter. 1-2 coming. And he overthrew that fastball. 2-2. So now the pitch count beginning to elevate a little beyond what Terry Collins had hoped. Jung-Ho Gong waiting on deck.
For the first time, we could see Noah sucking air a little bit.
2-2. Line, left center, base hit, and the shutout is broken. Jaso comes in to score. Freese heads to second, and he slides in with an RBI double. And so after Syndergaard held the Pirates off the board for 8 1/3, Pittsburgh gets a run, and Syndergaard seething as Terry Collins will now come out to get him. He wanted so badly to finish that shutout. But he was absolutely brilliant tonight. Thor ruled the night. Jerry's Familia will come in and try and get the final 2 outs. Noah Syndergaard pitching in the 9th inning for the first time.
Well, the first path to greatness is not being comfortable. And even though, look at that line, doesn't get much better than that, he was visually angry that he didn't get the job done.
Jerry's Familia pitching for the first time in 5 days. We'll try and finish it off.
Well, he's been unbelievable in save opportunities. It's getting his work opportunities that have not been as good.
Jung-Ho Kang 0 for 3 tonight. Strikeout and 2 ground balls. Freeze at second and 1 out. And Kang takes a strike. 1-1. After Syndergaard, Familia looks like a soft tosser. It's a little sinker ball pitcher.
That's right.
Matt Joyce on deck. And Kang fouls it off inadvertently. 1-2. SNY's Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Ouch. Starling Marte had to leave the game after being hit in the face. He's being examined by doctors.
Oh, let's hope he's all right. You know, the cheek and facial bones.
Yep.
And
I mean, that thing swelled up so quickly, you feared maybe a break in there. Syndergaard, 115 pitches and 8 1/3, 5 hits, the 1 run so far. No walks, 11 strikeouts. 3rd time this year that he's had double-digit strikeouts with no walks. For the season now, 12 walks and 106 strikeouts. Antonio Bastardo at the ready if needed. Just don't want Familia to throw too many pitches in this inning. That's why Bastardo's up. 1-2 to Kang with Matt Joyce on deck. And the splitter skips in. 2-2. Familia's last outing was Friday night in Milwaukee. He saved that strange 11-inning win for the Mets with a 1-2-3 inning. Two coming, and Kang takes just off the plate. As Ronnie noted, his save chances have been almost impeccable. I mean, he hasn't blown one yet, but not only that, 11 of his 21 saves, he hasn't allowed a base run, which ties him for the most perfect saves so far in the big leagues this season. However, tie games, 4-run leads, in this case 10-run leads, not so easy. 3-2 to Gong, and he fouls it off.
When Syndergaard went out for that inning, you and I were talking between innings. I'll let you know that that you knew that the Bucks had not been shut out, and they still have not been shut out.
Only team in the majors that
right.
has not been shut out this year. Eighth pitch of the at bat from Familia to Gong. And there'll be another.
Gong's a tough little out. He's still up there 11-1. It's kind of a bat you can kind of give in. He's not giving in. He's fighting for another hit, which he hasn't got one tonight. He's got a big collar going 0 for 3.
One more with the Pirates tomorrow night. Then the Braves are in over the weekend. And then Kansas City for 2 games Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Gong pulls one, and a great stop by Flores. Gets to his feet, but a wide throw gets by Loney and goes into the stands. And that will enable Freese to come home. And down to second base goes Gong, and it's now 11-2. Well, great play by Flores to stop this ball, but just a horrendous throw.
It's got to be an E5 all the way, because he's guy makes the play. It's a beautiful play. He's got the guy thrown out, but he throws it away.
I think he realized how much more time he had. Hot shot. By the time he bounces to his feet, he really had plenty of time to get the runner at first.
And he got that ball even without the longer glove that third basemen generally use. It's going to be error all the way. So no hit for Gong. Freese scores. And now Matt Joyce takes a strike.
What's up in the air right now is if this run is a base hit, it counts as an earned run. And that would be kind of a shame for Syndergaard to have 2 earned runs after this performance.
Right. Joyce struck out in his only at bat in the 7th after taking over for the injured Marte. And Familia gets ahead 0-2. I was talking about the Kansas City Royals a moment ago. They have a chance tonight to move into a first place tie with Cleveland. They're leading the Indians 7-2 in the 6th. After a long dry spell, the Royals all of a sudden are playing well, trying for their 5th straight win. So they're going to be a little hotter when they get to town.
Playing without their third baseman out for the year, playing without their left fielder, who should be back at the end of the year.
Right. It'll be their first appearance at Citi Field since they celebrated here last November 1st.
Still hot, Syndergaard.
0-2 coming. And that one's picked out of the dirt, and a splitter by Familia. 1-2. What do you suppose this conversation is about, Ron?
I don't know. I think that what happens in an inning like that is you start to, for the first time, and I'm not saying Noah did this, but when you're not put in a shutout situation very often, you start to look ahead for the first time. He probably was in the moment all game long, right? Strike one, make my pitch, 0-2, try to go for the strikeout.
And Familia strikes out Joyce for the second out.
Wicked.
What plays into your mind when you're a pitcher and you're in a shutout situation, especially when you have a big lead, is that you start to look ahead. Boy, if I can get 3 more outs, I'm going to have a shutout in the books. And you stop thinking about pitch by pitch by pitch.
So instead of thinking about process, you're thinking about results.
Exactly. And that's the thing, that you have to get out there and do it. And then once you do it enough times, then you're like, you know what? We'll wait for the celebration if it happens. Don't worry about that right now. Let's get the first guy out.
Now Harrison fouls one off. By the way, that strikeout of Joyce guarantees that that's an unearned run against Syndergaard. So Syndergaard gives up 1 earned run over 8 1/3. Lowers his ERA to 1.91.
Very deserving. I'm glad that that's an unearned run. You can't stop talking to him. I know the feeling, though. I've been there.
He wanted so badly to finish that game off. Good slider by Familia has Harrison chasing, and that has the Pirates down to their final strike. Tap toward third, a foul ball. Well, Syndergaard is one story tonight. The other is the Mets' patchwork lineup, banging out a season-high 19 hits in an offensive display that the Mets have not seen in some time.
And what was nice about it, Gary, it mixed in a home run by Johnson, but lots of singles and lots of extra base hits, lots of hits the other way. Things we haven't seen in a while.
Well, his next start is going to be against his old buddy Alcides Escobar and the Royals Tuesday night. That'll be fun. Oh, 2 coming. And Harrison takes up and away.
He'll still be 60 feet away.
Yes, 6 inches. If anybody wants to know. We can start thinking about that tomorrow. One and 2 to Josh Harrison. Again, he wastes away a nasty slider.
Just makes me think if he throws a hard sinker on his belt high, going to saw him off.
Well, Familia about to throw his 20th pitch, and this is what Terry did not want when he brought him in to get some work here, and that's why Bastardo is still ready to go in the bullpen. If Harrison gets on, I think we'll see Bastardo in the game.
I think you're right.
One, 2. And this is with a sinker. 2 and 2.
All right, let's put it in the books.
Okay, Howie. Two. Ground ball. Cabrera gives ground and slings it over in time, and the ball game is over. A huge offensive explosion by the Mets. A tremendous dominant performance by Noah Syndergaard as he pitches in the 9th inning for the first time in his career. And the Mets even up the series with the Pirates with a dominating 11-2 win.
Well, I never thought in a game that Syndergaard dominated like the way he did. Really, it's the offense you want to talk about. But Syndergaard was as good as he's been all season long. No walks, 11 strikeouts, just missed out on his shutout. But the Mets offense, Keith, came alive.
Well, they banged out 19 hits, Ron. They got a lot of bullets, and they got a lot of bleeders and bloops. Everything went their way. Big night for Wilmer Flores in the cleanup spot, 2 for 5 with a home run, 4 RBIs. Kelly Johnson inserted in the lineup late because Lagares was out, 3 for 5, a home run with 2 RBIs.
And Matt Reynolds with 3 hits and maybe the biggest hit of the night, a 2-run double in the first that gave the Mets some breathing room early. For every Mets win, the Mets organization is proud to contribute $2,500 to Northwell Health and the Katz Institute for Women's Health. For more information, visit northwellhealth.com/KIWH. This win brings the total contribution so far this season to $87,500. Mets snap a 3-game losing streak as they overwhelm the Pirates tonight 11-2. More from Citi Field coming up.